We took this creative and managed to 10x our return by implementing a content iteration system. In this video, I'm gonna break it down for you step by step so that you can take the exact same system, apply it to your winning creatives, and get 10 times as much value out of your assets. Hi everyone, my name is Mark. I run a TikTok marketing agency and we help e-commerce brands to set up and scale their TikTok ads. Today, we're sharing the secret sauce around one of our content systems that allows us to scale accounts faster without having to invest in as much creative. As many of you probably know, creative burnout on TikTok is extremely high. Oftentimes when you launch an ad, you've maybe got 2 weeks of performance to get the most out of that asset before things fall off and it starts to die out. There's a lot of theories as to why this happens, and nobody knows the TikTok algorithm 100% inside out. But my theory, and one that's shared by many people, is that TikTok is fundamentally designed to incentivize fresh content and new video assets. It's in TikTok's best interest for you to be consistently making new content because it improves the user experience for the people every day on the platform. Now, whether it is just fundamentally built into the algorithm that you need more content, or whether it's just a matter of TikTok's optimization isn't as strong as Facebook's and it struggles to find the right people to show it to, either way, it leaves us in the same position. We need more content than we would on other platforms. Now, just to show you how this system actually worked for us, here's the original creative that we launched on TikTok. You can see that we launched it there, and after about $600 in spend, the creative started to fatigue. The results were starting to decline. The performance wasn't quite there as when we first launched the video. Initially, it showed great stats, and just around 5 days later, it had already shown that it was burning out. Now you can see the ad account, and filtered by CR01, which was the name of this video, you can see that we spent about $19,000 through this creative and all the variations that we'd made of it. Now that's $19,000 spent on the video. That actually attributed back to about $50,000 in revenue for this consumable brand. So the question is, how did we do it? It all comes down to this 6-step system. Now, before you start implementing this system on your creatives, first of all, you want to find an ad that's already performing well. You don't necessarily want to do this on creatives that have been showing poor performance or never really took off. This is what you want to implement when you've found an ad, you've launched it inside your account, it's showing really good performance, and after a week, after 2 weeks, things are starting to fall off. Well, the goal of this is to extend the lifespan of creatives, get as much out of it as you possibly can, and rather than having it running for 2 weeks, like this ad, we were running it for 2, 3, 4 months, and consistently it was performing. Of course, as you get towards the later months in the system, performance will slowly start to decline, inevitably, but rather than having that 2 weeks of performance and then you die out and you burn, instead, you've got all this time that you can maximize and squeeze the value out of that video. So the prerequisite to this formula is that you've already found a winning ad that you're gonna double down on and that you can apply this to. So what does the process look like? Well, on TikTok, what we want to do is we want to try and trick TikTok into thinking this is a new video. There's many different ways that you can do that, but the way our system's designed is it goes from the least dramatic through to the most dramatic. So the smallest changes first, just tiny little variations, through to some pretty significant big changes to the video. So let's get into it. Step 1 is to change the audio. What we'll do is we'll play a snippet of the original video and then we'll play a snippet of the updated video, and you can see the difference.
3 reasons why these are the best soup dumplings ever made. Number 1, you can have restaurant quality soup dumplings from the comfort of your home in just 10 minutes. 3 reasons why these are the best soup dumplings ever made. Number 1, you can have restaurant quality soup dumplings from the comfort of your home in just 10 minutes.
So step 1 is a very simple change. We're not really changing anything fundamental about the video. The content's the same, the hook's the same, all the captions are the same. All we've changed is the audio of the video. One thing that's important when you're choosing new audio is make sure that the sound that you're choosing on TikTok matches up with the pace and tonality of the video. It's often overlooked by creators and brands, but humans are subconsciously tuned in to rhythm and pace and just generally music. You know, we've got a keen eye and hearing for that kind of thing. And it's subconsciously satisfying when the music matches up properly with the video. So don't just slap a random song on it. Take a little bit of time to choose the right song that matches with the video. Looking at the results of this test, you can see there, but just by changing the audio, we got another 2 weeks of running out of this and put about $2,300 through this creative. So that's step 1 of the process, change the audio. Now step 2 is to change the text style. For this, what you want to do is just make small adjustments to the captions, whether it's changing the actual style and font of the caption on the video, or whether it's just mixing up the the order of the captions, changing the wording ever so slightly. This again helps to trick TikTok into thinking, oh, this must be a new video asset. Let's go out and try it again and test it and put it out to the audience. Now, you don't want to do anything too major here. You don't want to be fundamentally changing the messaging of the video. It is just slight tweaks here and there just to refresh the creative. Here's an example of the version that we did.
3 reasons why these are the best soup dumplings ever made. Number 1, you can have restaurant quality soup dumplings from the comfort of your home.
Super simple, not too different. And you can see here by the performance, we actually only got another $392 out of this iteration. And that's the thing to watch out for here. As you go through this process, not every step is going to give you an extra $4,000 or $5,000 in spend. Some will be more effective than others, and that's okay. What you want to do is just go through the process, implement each one, and if you find one that isn't quite as effective, either just move on to the next step or try again, make another variation of that. Moving on to step 3, and this is a really great one just now, is adding a comment overlay. You've probably seen on TikTok the feature of reply to comment, and you can add the comment to the top left-hand corner of the video. What you want to do is just use an editing platform like Premiere Pro. There's also a tool online called Talk Comment, where you can create that little outline of a TikTok comment. And what you want to do is add context using that little box. You can either ask a question if the video suits it, you can tackle an objection, then come over those, the common thoughts that people have got before they're buying or when they're watching your videos, and use that little box as a sort of extra hook. This tends to perform really well, and it's one of the ones that we often get most out of the videos from. Let's take a look at it in action.
3 reasons why these are the best soup dumplings ever made.
Looking at the results, you can see we spent an extra $4,800 through this just by adding that little comment box to the video. We didn't necessarily change anything else. The captions were the same, the audio was the same as the original. All we added was that little TikTok box, and we got an extra $4,800 out of that creative. And that's $4,800 in spend, not in return. The return's hard to track for this brand because they're a consumable and they rely so heavily on lifetime value over a 3, 6, 9 month window. So this is only in its spend. The returns they're getting on the back end far outweigh that $4,800. Step 4 in the process, and this is where things start to get a little bit more dramatic. We're making some more significant changes to the videos now, and what we're gonna switch is the hook. The hook is a fundamental part of any TikTok video. If you're not getting people stopped to watch the rest of the video, it doesn't matter what the rest of the content is, because nobody's gonna see it. Doesn't matter how effective your call to action is, doesn't matter how compelling your video is, nobody's going to watch it if they don't get past those first 3 seconds. So this is a pretty substantial change to the video. And since it is a substantial change, this can go either way, and it might require some more testing. Because if you make a new hook and it doesn't perform as well as the original hook, then the performance is going to fall off. If you make a new hook and it does better than the original hook, you're going to get even better performance out of this creative now. When you implement this, you want to make sure that the new hook that you use still fits with the rest of the video. You don't want it to be too left field where the point, it doesn't really fit with the rest of the content. It should still flow nicely into the rest of the video. And the best thing to do is still by using these hook formulas. So find hooks that are proven to work already, bend them to fit your video, and then implement those.
3 reasons why these are the best soup dumplings ever made. Number 1, you can have restaurant quality soup dumplings from the comfort of your home in just 10 minutes. 3 reasons why these are the best soup dumplings ever made. Number 1, you can have restaurant quality soup dumplings from the comfort of your home in just 10 minutes.
Again, we changed the hook and we got an extra $1,300 to spend through this creative. Step 5 in the process, and now what we're going to implement is some text to speech. The great thing about using the text to speech feature is that you can start to bend the messaging of the video as well. It doesn't have to say the same things as the original content. In order to do this effectively, you're probably going to need the raw files. So if you're getting content made from creators, either ask them to send the raw files with the content, or ask them to keep the raw files ready in the basis that this could be a winner, and if it does take off, you'll go back and get the raw files off of them. So with this, what you're going to do is you can either recreate the original video word for word, but just using the text to speech rather than the original creator's voice, or what you can do is start to play around with little variations, or maybe it's a different hook, or maybe you change the first point of the video and switch it up a little bit, just so that the actual content itself is starting to become a little bit different as well. This, again, it's going to register on TikTok as a brand new creative, but then most of the content follows the same structure. Visually, it looks very similar. This tone, the tonality, the messaging, all very similar, so it's still going to be compelling, but to TikTok, they think it's a new video.
These are so good, I can't even explain. Soup dumplings from XCJ that I found on TikTok.
Now with this step, we actually created multiple variations of this using the text-to-speech. And that's the big benefit of this feature, is that you're not limited to one. There's literally endless possibilities of you changing the wording, the messaging, when things are said, and you can make literally unlimited variations using this feature. So the best performing variation that we did, you can see that we spent an extra $5,900 just on that variation itself. And then finally, step 6 in the process is changing the CTA. Now the reason we left this to the end and left it as step 6 is because the CTA is fundamentally what's normally converting people to come through to the site. That's what's driving the click. And if the ad's been performing and it's proven that it's got good click-through rates, it's doing a good job of getting people off of TikTok onto our website, we don't want to change around with the CTA too much. We kind of want to leave that alone, and that's why we left it as step 6 in this process. It's the last thing that we want to start playing around with. The best thing to do here is try and stay along the same lines and give off the same message, but maybe just word it slightly differently. Just change up the wording a little bit, using again that text-to-speech feature, and just play around with how you put that call to action into the video.
Order now and enjoy these mouth-watering dumplings from XCJ. Order now and enjoy these mouth-watering dumplings from XCJ.
And by doing that and changing up the CTA, you got another variation out of that. We spent another $1,300 through that creative there. Now it was at this point, and as I mentioned at the start of the video, as you go through this and the months are going by, you're creating variations of these videos, your CPA and your cost to acquire a customer will start to creep up. The further you deviate from that original, sometimes it's not going to be linear, it's not just going to always go up, it's going to have ups and downs, but at some point the CPA is going to be creeping up, and it just doesn't really make sense to continue to vary on it, because it's getting to the point where it's not even really profitable, and your time is better invested in finding new winners or creating more variations of newer winning content. So by this point for us, it kind of didn't make sense to continue making those variations, and we moved on to the next one. But instead of spending $600 on this creative and just letting it burn out, moving on, trying to find fresh content, we continued to make variations and got an extra $20,000 of ad spend through this video. If you're an e-commerce brand, paying content creators can add up as a substantial fee in your marketing budget, and there's no need to just continually invest more and more in fresh content if you've not got the most out of the content you're using already. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button below, subscribe for more TikTok marketing content, and let me know in the comments below if you're going to use this system.